All right. I will go ahead and start with my paper notebook. So I want to begin with just a couple of reactions from you guys about Module 1. So this is your chance to express any grievances that you have, if any of the assignments that I gave you really sucked and you want me to know about it. If there were assignments that were useful for you as you began to write your paper, or even like how your paper writing process went. You know, I am a strong individual. I can take any criticism that you have. So did anyone struggle writing the paper? Maybe start there. Were there any difficulties?
I was just going to say that like not having a Zoom meeting to start the week last week really screwed me up. Like this class wise, like it really like kerfuffled my whole entire week by not like expository writing week by not having that to set up. So I know it was Tuesday and we couldn't do anything about it, but I'm trying to say I really appreciate these.
Good.
Set up weekly or Monday meetings.
Yeah. Hopefully, I mean, we don't have any other holidays, so that shouldn't be an issue again. We'll have a brief introduction to the week and the goals and the assignments, so everyone is on the same page to start out. So none of you guys like hated any of my assignments. You all loved that invention activity that I gave you. Tony, that's a face. What's that face for?
I loved it. It was so simple, and I didn't have to go in depth at all. Not really.
You know, I'm glad. Did you see any help in writing your paper with it, though?
Yeah, it made me think. It made me think more about the audience more than I was before, so that did help.
Yeah, my intention with that activity was to have you guys develop some of the things that you might write about in your paper. So hopefully you found some things to write about in your paper from that activity, even though it was a little long. We're not doing the exact same one next time, don't we, guys? I'm surprised that none of you want to chew me out for how last week went in terms of having something due every day.
That was not fun.
It's not fun. It wasn't fun for me either. So in planning our future modules, I started planning the last week, which when I started this class, I didn't think, you know, would be the most productive way to do it. But now I've learned that, yeah, that's necessary. So rest assured, the last week of this module, you guys will have your revisions, your draft due on Monday, and then you have the rest of the week to revise it and meet with me and not have any other assignments. So we're learning together, guys. All right, well, I'm glad that you guys don't want to chew me out. I feel like that means I'm doing a great job. So that being said, I'm going to share my screen with you guys and I'll just show you what Module 2 looks like on Canvas so far. I have a couple of things that I'm going to continue to add as the week progresses because I am wanting to get feedback from students and kind of curtail the assignments more to what is going to be more universally helpful than what I think is what you guys should be doing. So that being said, your assignment for tonight is just a course check, and all I ask for is a complete sentence for 4 questions about what you're finding. Stop it. Stop it. Oh my God. How the course is going so far, what the assignment, Chandler, I'm sorry, you know, never thought I'd be teaching class from my home. So yeah, that's just another opportunity for you guys to give me feedback. And I really urge you guys to give me any feedback that you have, you know, let me know if something didn't work for you because I can make changes at this point. And I want to make sure that I'm not overwhelming you guys or giving you assignments that don't make sense or that seem long and tedious and very in detail. So yeah, hashtag invention activity. And then a brief discussion for Wednesday. It's a relatively easy discussion. It shouldn't take you guys too long. And then you'll notice that I'm doing a brief weekly reading quiz. I was a little taken aback by some lack of understanding of the goals of the module, Module 1. I can say for certainty that it was none of you guys who come to this Zoom session. Y'all get a great expectation and understanding of what's going on, but so it's very easy. I think this one is like 5 questions, and if you do the reading, you'll understand what the answers are very easily. But this is just to make sure that I don't get emails 2 days before the paper is due saying, wow, I didn't understand what this module was at all. Yeah. So there aren't quite as many assignments in this module, but they do get a little bit more complex, but not to the extent of the invention activity. So it is more even. They're like moderately difficult and time-consuming assignments. So it's not like you have a bunch of easy ones and a big hard one in a week. They're more evenly spread out. So you'll see that we don't have quite as much. Oh, and about the reading quiz, I had originally had this assignment right underneath the reading assignment. My advisor told me that I shouldn't do that if I'm making it due at the end of the week, but I highly encourage you as you do the reading to just get it done and don't wait until Friday and potentially forget about it. Yeah, I will continue to send out my weekly announcements with that information, but just, I'm designing these quizzes to be really easy. And if you've read the material, you'll answer the questions very quickly. So just get it done as soon as you do the reading is my best advice. Yeah, and look at this beautiful final week with a Monday revision. And then mark in your calendar that October 9th is the due date of your next paper. So that's 4 weeks out. And yeah, this module is going to go a lot smoother than the last one because I can plan. Like I said, we're all learning here. All right. So I believe that's it. I've also moved this module to the top of our course. So when you open our Canvas page, this should be the first thing that you see, and you won't have to scroll through and try to find this module. And I'll continue to do that as we go through the modules so that hopefully I minimize the potential for confusion. All right, so like I said, we're moving right along. I'm just going to highlight some of the key points and expectations of Module 2. Please take a look at the PowerPoint that I've uploaded because I go into a little bit more detail about what these things are going to be. I think I'm debating on making a tiny quiz for it just to make sure that people actually look at it. Because my other PowerPoint is uploaded to YouTube, so I can see how many views I have on that one, and it is not one per person in class, so that makes me very sad. So we'll see, and I will send out an announcement if I decide to do that. So Module 2 focuses on responding to arguments. So for those of you who had strong opinions about the articles that you read, this is your opportunity to strongly disagree with it or to agree with it, but further the conversation through new information and your own opinion. So that's going to be the key focus of this module, is developing your own argument. And we're going to go through a lot of important points that you'll have to consider as you draft your paper. So the first step in that is considering a multi-sided argument strategy. So if you disagree with the article that you read, the article, I highly recommend that you guys use the same articles that you used in Module 1 because you already understand those arguments and that will save you time. If you want to find a new argument, you need to email me about it. I need a link to the article that you're wanting to read, and I need to approve it. So that being said, I suggest to just use the same argument because that'll be easier on everyone, but if you want to do something different, just contact me. So there are going to be a couple of similarities to what you did for the last paper and going forward for the second paper. Identifying your audience is going to continue to be important, and this is now a multifaceted identification because you need to be conscious of the article's intended audience, which you guys discussed in paper 1, but now you need to be understanding of your new audience. And your new audience, and I can't emphasize this enough, is a neutral and slightly skeptical audience. They're not going to inherently agree with your argument, which is kind of the premise that paper 1 took. So you're going to have to employ strategies to be persuasive and convincing to an audience that may not agree with what you're saying. So as I was saying earlier, the multi-sided argument strategy is a great way to do that. And that includes a rebuttal. So whether or not you agree or disagree with the argument, you want to illustrate that you as the writer are a knowledgeable and understanding person of the various aspects of the argument. So if you disagree with the article on trophy hunting and think that it is blown out of proportion, you can't just focus in on that point. You need to address the opposing viewpoint, and that makes your point stronger. You want to show, you know, while other people may think this, what I'm saying is more important to the argument, and this is why you should listen to me over them. So if that makes sense. One of the key aspects of this module is focusing on your own ethos as a writer. And being able to understand both sides of the argument is a great way to strengthen your own ethos. You present yourself as a knowledgeable person on the subject, someone who's worthy of being listened to. Yeah, and then some brief criteria for this next paper is you're going to be arguing a claim, creating your own claim about the argument, and using reasons. So we're going to be finding secondary sources. There are assignments later in the module that will help you find credible and appropriate secondary sources, and then we will talk about how to employ those in your paper, so don't concern yourself with that just yet. I've got some good K-State library resources for you on how to evaluate secondary sources and also about how to use the K-State database, which is really cool and also is a total labyrinth. So that will be very useful for you guys to find good, credible secondary sources because a simple Google search is not going to suffice for this assignment. As I said, considering the dual audience that you have, so the dual audience being the intended audience of the article and the audience that you are writing to and trying to persuade, and considering how you're going to rebut. So if you are going to continue with the same argument, be thinking about what someone who doesn't think the same way you do would think. And that can take some time and some consideration, so I suggest having it in the back of your mind as those assignments begin. Any questions? Awesome. I did not think that I would go through all of that in 15 minutes. So, I think hopefully I gave you guys a clear picture of what this module will look like. The module on Canvas itself is structured just like module 1 was. So the assignments and their due dates and their instructions are going to be similar, so there shouldn't be any confusion there. I'll continue my weekly announcements. I'll send one out later. And yeah, in the meantime, complete that course check. And please, I urge you, give me your honest feedback because I want to emphasize that I can make changes at this point. I'm not going to be able to make these changes if I don't hear about things until week 3 in the module. So yeah, I want to be accommodating to everyone's needs, and I can't do that if I don't know what your needs are. Yeah, I believe that's it. So if there are no questions, you all are free to, leave the classroom by just hitting end, and email me if you have any questions as things continue. Right, bye guys.